Hello, everyone. What a game we've got on tomorrow. It's a must-win for Arsenal against Man United. Absolutely must-win. Man City winning earlier today. But the quadruple is still on. It's certainly still on. Here are, just before I get into the starting 11 predictions, here are the next 5 games for Arsenal and Manchester City. Both of us have a pretty chaotic February. This is just for the Premier League. But of course, we've got Carabao Cup semi-finals in there. And I think the final will be 26th, 27th of February. So that will be in there as well, along with an FA Cup game and the final Champions League game next week. Arsenal have an easy ride next week in the Champions League. But it's a pretty difficult month. It is going to be a huge month in the title race. City, with their improved squad depth, are going to be able to deal with this. Gay coming in today, getting a clean sheet on his first game for City. And, of course, Semenyo scoring as well. This is a strong City side, even with the dips they've been having. But look at this, Tottenham and Liverpool away the next 2 games. If we are to beat Man United at home, this is going to be the hardest time to play Man United. Carrick manager bounce. I think Carrick made a lot of good decisions against City, so I think it might be a bit more than a manager bounce. There's a bit of a culture. He's bringing back Fergie time culture, and some nods to those historical Champions League wins and all the glory of the Carrick era at Man United and the Fergie era. But it's a favourable month in terms of fixtures for Arsenal. Look at this. I mean, this could really make or break. We could well be, if they are to get, I mean, they should get a result against Spurs, but you know what their record is against Spurs. Not great, especially away from home. And Spurs sort of turn up against City for whatever reason. Who knows? God knows. Liverpool away, again, historically, you know, as poor as Liverpool are, I think they're currently drawing with Bournemouth after going 2-0 down. And then you've got Newcastle still. Leeds away. We've got Leeds away as well. That's a difficult game at the moment. So I'm excited for this month, but it must start with a win tomorrow. There's no question. This is what I think Arsenal will start with tomorrow. Big decisions in the striker formation. So these are the 2 options I think Arteta will be mulling over. I know there's been some reports that Nketiah and Calafiori might be back in training, but I still think he will go with Timber at left back because I think Ben White's been playing well, and I think he'll keep Ben White in the squad and Timber at left back, who has been performing. Timber has to start, obviously. What a player! And those 2 players, and Calafiori's been out for almost a month now. If he is available, I'd throw him straight in. But I also think, based on the way Arteta answered the press conference, he was quite confident. He sounded quite confident that Nketiah and Calafiori were available. And when he sounds confident like that, I think he's trying to throw the opposition off a bit. He doesn't, usually is just like, we'll have to check. But he was a bit more like, yep, they're back in training, which kind of made it sound a bit more like they were available. I think Arteta is going to go with this. If Calafiori is available, he goes straight in here. Zubimendi, Rice, Erdegaard. Zubimendi's going to have a heck of a month. That guy needs to rest for sure. But the big decision's going to be up front in the front 3, and I'll tell you which of these 2 I think he will go with in a minute. Jesus obviously had a brilliant game against Inter Milan away. And I think Jesus plays better when Martinelli starts alongside him. They've got a lot of goal and assist contributions for each other in all competitions, actually, in the last few years. When Jesus has been fit, they've got a good connection. Whereas Gyokeres, I think, has a better connection with Trossard. But I think, despite Jesus' performance, and hearing this fear with Kai Havertz, maybe they've rushed him back too soon. I don't know if they've rushed him back too soon, but I think there's further issues with his knee at the moment for Havertz. And so we're not seeing Havertz get many minutes at the moment. They're probably going to take a bit of precaution with Jesus, bringing Jesus right back in. So I think this will be Gyokeres. The pattern has been in the Champions League, Jesus starts and Gyokeres has been on the bench. That's been the pattern the last few weeks. Gyokeres was on the bench for the Inter Milan game. He came off the bench, of course, but I think he was on the bench with a view to playing Man United, starting against Man United. But what a goal he scored there. And I think, maybe if he doesn't score that, Jesus, if Arteta runs a meritocracy based on and gives positions to people who's playing well, Jesus gets that start, but I don't think he will. I think he's going to stick with Gyokeres. It's a big confidence boost, that goal he scored. I think Gyokeres we will see starting tomorrow. Let's have a quick look. I think Trossard and Gyokeres have a better sort of connection. My only fear is the lack. Maybe Maguire cancels out Gyokeres, and Jesus versus Maguire, and I'm sure it'll be Martinez, is a pretty juicy matchup. I think Jesus does them for kind of on the ball ability there, and I don't think they're really. I mean, physically, Gyokeres and Maguire cancel each other out. I'll be interested. They played, they're very transitional. Let's have a look. This is their last game against City. Martinez and Maguire having a very solid game, and Martinez was very high up. I remember watching Martinez was so high up, putting loads of pressure on, like around the halfway line. If Gyokeres can get the space like he did in that second half against Inter Milan, because they committed too much, that's, as I said, the word juicy. I'll say it again, juicy opportunity for them. The other thing I want to say about this starting 11 is Carrick. He made a lot of different changes to what Amorim had done, bringing Mainu in, playing Dorgu on the left wing, Ahmad starting, and Mbeumo starting over Sesko, Bruno Fernandes being played at attacking midfield. I don't think this is just a manager bounce. I think this might be a little bit more than a manager bounce, because those decisions were very different, and they show a bit of know-how from Carrick in the sense that they were the right decisions. They were difficult decisions, and he got them right. So this may be a little bit more sustainable than just a manager bounce where, a new manager comes in and all the players want to prove themselves to the new manager and prove that the last manager was the reason for the failures. So that's going to be difficult. I mean, I'm glad. One thing I think we can't really have is Lewis Skelly up against Ahmad. Although Lewis Skelly played very well against Inter Milan, he always plays well when he gets a chance in midfield and gets space, but he's not good against dribbly wingers. We saw that this started his sort of slight downturn in form, and that was against PSG last season. I think PSG in that second leg, Miles Skelly against, was it Doué or Dembele? Maybe even Barcola was on the left, but one of those players, and it looked uncomfortable. It didn't look good. So that's where I think Arteta will favour Timber for this, unless Calafiori is available. So that will be interesting. And Mbeumo up against, the one difference against City. I mean, look at this percentage. Will we have that amount of possession? I don't think we will. I mean, this just shows this is a total transitional counter-attacking setup for Manchester United here. Look at the amount of chances and high XG opportunities they had with such little possession. Pressing high, winning the ball on the break, and getting the ball out wide to wingers or straight into Fernandes, who gets in between the lines. That's what we'll have to look out for. But the difference here is City are so disorganised. We're so disorganised with that back four. Our back four now have played together for years, and they know each other very well. And especially Zubamendi dropping into that sort of defensive midfield position, I think it will be able to deal with these, with those sort of balls through the lines. I think that's all we got to watch out for, really. Other than that, I mean, this is the worst time to play them. Their highest confidence ever. They've had 10 days rest. They've had to put their feet up for the last 10 days and probably they put their feet up, but they've also probably absolutely been desperately trying to figure Arsenal out for 10 days. Meanwhile, we're smashing Inter Milan away at the San Siro, and also having to think ahead for a semi-final against Chelsea in the Carabao Cup. So we've got other business mates. This is basically their final, to be honest. But look, huge game. I want to see Gyokeres start. I want to see us get an early goal against Man United. It's been a while. We scored early against Inter Milan, but in the league, I want to see us score early and build from there. And I'll be doing my live stream, so welcoming everyone back, and we'll also be doing the full-time reaction. If you're interested in more Arsenal match previews, little bits of news and live shows as we go for the quadruple, then you are very welcome to join. Thank you very much. See you later. Come on the Arsenal.